All right, and we should be live. I'm here with my frequent sidekicks, Matt Forney.
Party, 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 party.
And Artistic Layman's with us.
Hello, everyone.
Alrighty, so we got a lot to cover tonight. Well, actually, that's a lie. We don't have a lot to cover tonight. We really don't. We have a few things to cover though that'll hopefully be entertaining enough. First, and Forney, you did a couple of streams on this, but it appears Facebook and Twitter are just collapsing in on themselves.
Yes, my erection is so big right now. It's stretching out. It's blocking traffic. Like gypsy women are hanging their laundry off it to dry. I'm so hard right now. It's fantastic.
And it is fantastic. So, to some extent, I mean, something like Facebook, I noticed years ago, just assumed perpetual growth, which is always a mistake. I mean, you reach a saturation point at, I remember a couple years ago, we were like, Facebook isn't growing anymore. It's like, yeah, because the entire first world got fucking on Facebook. What do you expect? Like, they just thought they'd just grow forever. Yeah. Um,
Well, the other aspect too that I talked about is that you have the what happened in the 2016 election, and an entire portion of the political spectrum is now perpetually pissed off at these social media outlets because they allowed Russian propaganda and they allowed those evil Nazi white supremacist alt-righters to hijack our beautiful democracy. So they don't want to use these social media outlets, or they demand excessive censorship, and as a result, these companies are now losing money because of this. I want to remind everyone: Facebook has 30,000 employees, and 10,000 of those employees are censors. An entire third of their workforce is dedicated to cleaning, examining content on Facebook, and making sure it fits within their community guidelines. They're not adding any sort of value. They're not helping bring more people to the site. They're just drains. They're parasites.
they're actually doing the exact opposite. They're driving people away from the site.
Well, they drove me away from the site in the sense that I basically only use it now for private messaging. I don't post anything.
I will say though, Facebook is a little smarter. One might even say insidious in how it censors people. They like to give you those bans, but then let you come back. See, Twitter, they just have the emotional incontinence of throwing you right off, whereas Facebook is actually trying to alter your behavior. So credit where credit's due there, I guess.
But it's apparently now working for them because they've the left has completely abandoned. You remember when those halcyon days of about a year ago, where people seriously thought that Mark Zuckerberg would be a strong contender for the presidential, Democratic presidential nomination. The left hates him now. They hate him. They hate him because they view him as a patsy for Russian propaganda. They hate him because he's not harsh enough on Holocaust denialists. They want his head on a pike.
Yeah, I remember a year ago, I guess, when they were talking about Mark Zuckerberg turning around. I'm like, well, first of all, that the idea that might happen is, I guess, a terrifying thought, but he would never win because I just knew he was just so fucking unlikable. Like, that guy is the epitome of Bugman.
He's the platonic Bugman.
I'm quite happy. Their stocks have tanked. There's been a lot of shills out there trying to talk about how this is not, this isn't really as bad as it looks. No, it's as bad as it looks.
It's only
worse.
It's only the single biggest collapse of a single company's stock price in Wall Street history. Mark Zuckerberg's loss of $16 billion is the single biggest loss by any one individual on the stock market in Wall Street history. But no, it's not that bad.
Didn't it knock him down like on the list of like the richest Americans or something? It knocked him down from like 3.
It had to have because
it knocked him down from like 3 to 9 or something.
$16 billion. It had to have knocked him down.
It knocked him down from like 3 to 9 or something like that. It knocked him like significantly down on the list.
And you know what the best part is? He had to have known about this, and because he's been selling his own stock in Facebook for the past several months. He saw this shit coming.
Oh, I'm sure.
He knew he had fucked himself.
I'm sure. But I mean, in all fairness, he fucked himself down to only the 9th richest person in the country, so it's hardly a great deal of justice.
And it's worth, you got to keep in mind that the Facebook and Twitter and the other social media companies, they're in a bind. They can't do anything without upsetting one portion of the political spectrum or another. Now, all the censorship they've been putting in to appease the left, it's backfired. We're seeing that now in their collapsing stock prices, and their collapsing user bases, and their collapsing revenue, because, like I said, all these censors they're hiring are not providing any economic value. They're not bringing any users, and they're also pissing off right-wing users who just stop using the sites or whatever. I mean, you've obviously been banned from Twitter. I've been banned. I was banned from Twitter a long time ago, and I barely use Facebook now. So we're pissed off, and we're not using these sites. However, the blogger I was using to talk about this, Agnostic, over at his website is Akinokuri at blogspot.com. He was talking about how these social media sites should just stop catering to these people and just be like, yeah, whatever, and be more free speechy. That would piss off the left, and then they just get constant attacks from the fake news media about how Facebook is letting Nazis post, Twitter is letting white supremacists post, and Holocaust denialists post, and there has to be something to be done about keeping these Russian bots and dupes from subverting our beautiful democracy. They literally cannot win. They're fucked no matter what choice they make.
I still say that telling the pro censorship crowd to get fucked is it's the less bad choice for them.
Yeah, it's the less bad choice, but the less bad, the lesser of two evils is still evil.
I think that's their better option, and I think that they've kind of fucked themselves now legally. They've caught the attention of the powers that be. Now, whether in the Republican Party, whether or not they follow through with that, they're always going to try and cuck on free market shit. But there are they've shadow banned Republican congressmen. Trump's finally starting to take some real notice of it. I don't know that anything will come of that, because never underestimate the Republican Party's ability to squander momentum. But they've definitely awakened something here, and it's not going to pan out well for them.
Well, the mere threat of action from Trump is enough to get a lot of people just at Twitter to just fucking capitulate.
And I had heard somewhere today, and maybe you heard more about this. Some right-wing group, I want to say Heritage something, is planning on suing Twitter for this shit.
Well, they're already being sued by American Renaissance.
That's what it is. AmRam. That's what it was. AmRam was suing them. And honestly, I always thought it would be a good idea to get a lawyer to try and do a class action lawsuit and get tons of people that have been thrown off for political reasons.
Well, that is the lawsuit, and Twitter tried to fight it with an anti-slap motion, and the motion was denied, so it's going to proceed to court.
Well, yeah, but I mean, this is a lawsuit of one organization.
Both you and I are part of that lawsuit, by the way.
Oh, it is a class action.
Yeah, because you remember when I think it was End Cultural Marxism was asking people on Gab, like, oh, if you've been banned from Twitter, we're doing a class action lawsuit. Please, give us the handle of the Twitter account that was banned. So I replied to it, and so did you.
That's right. I wasn't sure if that was the same thing or not. Well, that's cool. I don't know. Maybe I'll even get a pound of flesh up from him. I could use a buck or two.
I would prefer to have like a ton of flesh at this point, but whatever. I just want to see them bleed. Like, I'm at the point where I don't even want my old Twitter account back. I just want to see them fucking burn.
Well, and we'll get to this here shortly, but we're talking about the pedo shit in Hollywood. And I said on Davis's stream, it's like, at the end of the day, I'm really not all that keen on James Gunn being fired from Guardians of the Galaxy because of his tweet. I'm more keen on him being executed for being a communist. But since I can't get the latter, I'll settle for the former. And that's about where I am here. I'm not interested in doing anything but crushing these people. To hell with them. To hell with them all.
Yeah. They've done enough gaslighting and all this horseshit to us that I'm just sick of it. I want to see it all burn. Okay. Yeah. Actually, if I had Luke's ability, and I'm not going to bother queuing it up, because every time I try to queue something up from the phone, it takes longer than it should. I just played that clip from The Dark Knight about from Alfred talking about the Joker. Some men just want to watch the world burn. That's me right now. I want to watch their world burn. Fuck Silicon Valley. Fuck the second .com crash. I hope the gig economy goes down, and you fuckers are all... Okay, I'm not a socialist. Fuck the left, but I want to see the socialists fucking burn Silicon Valley to the ground. Redistribute your wealth all over the fucking map. Burn down Mark Zuckerberg's fucking villa. Seize his billions. Eat shit.
Yeah. That's about where I've reached with him. And moving on to the pedo shit. I guess I can take down the slideshow. Much as those are some wonderfully dank memes. Hope you all like that. Hand selected dank memes right there. We're gonna watch a little bit of fucking Dan Harmon's comedic genius here. So remember, he had that skit where he raped a baby doll, right? He was Daryl the baby raper, right? Well, there's more from Dan Harmon. There's more. So let's go ahead and get the Get the old Windows capture up here. All right, so this is off of Bounding into Comics, which if you're at all into comics, you should check out. It's a non-cuck comic news site. Anyways, we got a little video here we're going to watch. I hope this plays well for everybody. This is an old...
screen sharing it so we can see it, or...
Oh, shit, I don't have it on the... Let me get it on the Skype here.
Well, it's not a huge deal. I guess we can watch it on
hang
delay,
on.
I guess.
Yeah, just check it out on delay. Okay, so this the audience should be able to see this. Yeah, remember, folks, I'm working out kinks here. So, all right, here we go. And there's Dan Harmon with a baby. Yeah, there we go. So, I don't know, Forney, you're on a delay there. Oh, it is a couple minutes delay.
Well, I can just visualize it.
It's basically it's with a real baby. He has a real baby reach on his leg, like hitting on him in this little video.
What the fuck is up with his face? If you've got like white hair, you guys should not grow a fucking beard, like, because it makes you look like you should be channeling for change outside of Penn Station while screaming about how everyone is an Illuminati reptile alien. Holy fuck! What a creepazoid.
Yeah. All right. So that's Dan Harmon, and this is what I said on Davis's stream. I would prefer we live in a world where comedians can joke about anything. I don't have a problem inherently with joking about molestation. There's two things at play here. Number one, I don't really believe it's all that much of a joke with Dan. Number two, just 3 weeks ago, we absolutely burned Roseanne Barr's career to the ground, immediately yanked off her show, which was the most successful show on fucking television, because she said that a woman who looked like a monkey looked like a monkey. So you don't get to hide behind Dan Harmon. You don't get to hide behind, oh, it's just a joke, bro. It's just a prank, bro. I'm just a comedian. No, see, you all changed the rules to where that's no longer an option.
Yeah. They're trying to draw I've seen this. They're trying to draw an arbitrary distinction between what Roseanne did and what, people like Dan Harmon and James Gunn do. It's like, oh, you trying to compare racism to just making edgy jokes? Like, no. Keep understand something here. Racism for a lot of people is subjective. Like, it's subjective. There's a difference between how you and I would define racism, Bechtloff versus a leftist. However, pedophilia is pretty goddamn hated by everyone worldwide. Regardless of culture, regardless of politics, pedophilia is like porn. We may not be able to define it that well, but we know it when we see it.
And damn it, if the left is not, they've hitched their wagon to this. You talk about hitching your wagon to an unpopular thing. They really have, and it's biting them in the ass. They've become the party of abolish ICE and diddle the kids.
Abolish ICE, diddle the kids. A winning formula in Middle America, I'm sure.
And they think they're going to have a blue wave come November. I don't think that's going to pan out for you.
The only blue wave that's going to come in November is the blue wave of all the fucking liberals who are going to hang themselves on November 9th or whatever, the day after the election.
Oh, you guys remember this image from Antifa I just sent to Bechtloff's Discord?
Hang on a second. I'll go ahead and I'll whip it up here.
It's a Antifa rally, and they have a very interesting poster.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, did any of you see that Slate article? The far right's campaign to anti-pedophilia campaign is succeeding. So being against pedophilia is now a far right position. Well, gosh darn it, I guess I'm far right then.
Yeah, I guess I'm pretty far to the fucking right.
Yeah. They're doing this in other countries as well. Like, I actually saw an article today. It's about the upcoming election in Sweden and talking about how the far right Sweden Democrats are making child marriage a major issue. Oh, so the normal position now is to be in favor of forcing 9-year-olds to marry older men? That's very progressive.
So
That totally will be a popular. That will be
I always
at the
thought
polls.
I always thought this image was fake. So since you can't see it for me on a delay, it's when they were holding up that sign that says "No white supremacy, no pedo bashing, no Mike Cernovich," and then it has Antifa and NAMBLA logos below it.
Sexy.
I just I kind of thought it was fake when I first saw it, but like I don't know anymore. Okay, I just don't know anymore. All right, like if I saw an article that like said that Hillary Clinton actually admitted to all the spirit cooking and said it was a good thing and you're a bigot for not liking it, I'd be like, really? Did she? I better check to make sure this is not on like is this on multiple sites? I can't tell anymore. I can't tell with these fucking people. I mean, they're monsters. They're fucking monsters.
Horrible.
So yeah, I don't. You know, I would much prefer we live in a world where comedians can get away with saying whatever the fuck they want. I like edgy humor. I like rough comedy. I like offensive comedy. I think comedy's at its best when it's offensive. You know, I was on here a while ago, back when everybody's bitching about that Big Mouth show on Netflix, and I was like, it looks like it's not funny, but I'm not offended by it. Like, you know, aren't we on the right supposed to, like, not be all about pretty lies? Let's be real. 13-year-olds are horny, okay? That puberty's kicking in. You know, they're confused and horny, and, you know, they're thinking about sex constantly. That's just the reality of the situation. I'm not offended by that. So I didn't necessarily view that as sexualizing children. But then you get these idiots, like Dan Harmon is talking about fucking babies. And you'd be like, oh, it was just a joke, bro. It was just a joke. Like,
Oh yeah,
I don't think it is anymore. And you know what else? I don't care. You all long ago decided that, you know, we don't make jokes in the current year. So guess what? Just a joke, you can't hide behind it anymore.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot until you reminded me of it in that Rick and Morty episode, where in the world of Mortys, they went to the wishing well, and one of them said, "I wish incest porn had a more broader appeal," as if it were a joke.
Yeah, I don't think it is a joke
Dan Harmon,
anymore.
you fucking perv.
I don't think it is a joke anymore. That's the point. I don't think it is a joke. You know? I think these people are really into this shit.
Like, it'd be one thing if it was like just some sort of throwaway comment or whatever, but like again, with like James Gunn, he made the exact same joke, the exact same comments again and again over a protracted period of time. You know when there's smoke, there's fire.
And it's not only that, but like you're seeing all this stuff leak out that these people are really into this shit. You're seeing little clues here and there. You're seeing people, you know, it constantly leaks out. And when stuff is leaking out, you always have to assume that what you're seeing is the tip of the iceberg. That's always the safe assumption. When a secretive group of people is having some of their secrets leak out, you have to assume that you're getting the tip of the iceberg. And it's just... And at the same time, they're screaming about fucking Russia. I was at the bookstore today and I saw, I think it was Time Magazine, which I know Time Magazine is still a thing. But it had like this photoshopped image where it was like an amalgamation of Putin and Trump's face. I'm like, what do we do about the Russia summit? And it's like, you fucking people.
You go and hang yourself. That's what you do.
And you know, I most people they see this shit and they want to fucking burn you to the ground. I mean, most people just instinctively, you know, there is no pedo acceptance. Okay, there is no pedo acceptance. You know, it's why in the 70s, you know, back in the 70s when the gay movement started, you know, pedophilia shit was part of it, and then a handful of gays realized, oh wait, no, that shit's never gonna fly. We need to tell those guys to shut the fuck up. Well, now they're speaking up again. And, you know, the gay community is so far gone at this point. They don't even have the good sense to tell them to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, this is the part where we start hanging motherfuckers.
So another article I wanted to go to, and then I don't know, I might take callers or something. It's just I'm half tempted to just stop on the Saturday shows for a while, to be honest with you folks. It's not even that there aren't shit to talk about. It's just I don't necessarily know that I have this shit into me, and I'd much rather be doing those theological debates like we did earlier today. Those aren't fucking soul draining. I thought that one turned out really well. By the way, you should check it out. I had Pastor Tom and Davis
It was actually pretty
on.
enlightening from my perspective.
And it does tend to go in circles a little bit and all, but that's inevitable in debates when you're letting people have some free reign. But I don't know, guys. I'm burning out on these fucking Saturday shows because it's like, how many times can you just stare at fucking obvious madness without, it's not even like the retard segments that are funny. Like I said, I might be trying to switch more to just the theological debates and maybe oddball streams here and there. But
Talk more about video games, maybe.
Yeah, talk about fucking video games and shit like that. It's like let's just talk about Zelda and shit. It's like I like talking politics, but these people are so fucking insane, and they're just so soul draining to stare at.
Yeah, that's why my main focus now is running a literary website, so I don't have to think about this shit, and I can build something beautiful.
Somebody says you need to have set articles like when Undertow was doing with the overviews of. Well, no, it's not even that I don't have articles. I have articles I can bring up. We could talk about. That's not the point. I half the time I don't want to. Like, here's a perfect example. We're gonna bring up an article and talk about it, and I brought it up on Davis's stream, and I just wasn't even able to fucking get through it. All right, so.
I wish I could lend you my Teflon soul, but apparently I still attached to me.
Yeah, really. I need fucking Luke's magic abilities to just not give a shit. Just no giving a fuck. All right, so here we go. We have an article on Vice.com now. Quickly here in the room. Luke, have you seen Animal House?
Only parts of it.
Forney, have you seen Animal House?
Well, of course I have. Yeah, it's a great movie.
Yeah, like Davis hadn't seen Animal House, and like Davis didn't even recognize John Belushi, and I was like, when I was on Davis' stream, I'm like, Davis, you're mildly upsetting me with this. Like, go watch Animal House, you pretentious fuck. Like, if I tell you it'll be cathartic or other buzzwords, will you go watch it then?
He's Canadian, that's why he hasn't seen it.
But no, seriously, folks, if you haven't seen Animal House, and in fact, that's a video I want to do, maybe an animated video. I'm just going to do like 10 fucking movies that you need to turn this shit off and go watch, all right? And Animal House is one of those movies that's fucking hilarious. I first saw Animal House when I was like, I don't know, 12 or 13. When I was like 12 or 13, my dad just decided, well, he's old enough now. I'm going to show him all these R-rated comedies from before his time. And, an Animal House and, what was Caddyshack, stuff like that, And, like, Animal House is hilarious. Like, it's just great. John Belushi was a fucking comedic genius. And by the way, John Belushi was also a major shitlord. He said something, and I don't have the exact quote, but it was something akin to regarding early Saturday Night Live. First of all, he would not perform any skits that were written by women. He said, no, fuck that. Women aren't funny. And he said the only reason we have women on the show is so that women can play women in sketches. He's like, women aren't funny. And
so we don't have to see men in drag.
Yeah, so we don't have to see men in drag on the sketches. Like, good old John Belushi. Taken from us too soon. But there's an article on Vice here. And it just goes, again, it gets back to the whole thing of, like, leftists just hate anything that's fucking good. Okay, they hate anything that's worthwhile. This guy, this fucking Weasley motherfucker, is running his mouth about how Animal House fucking sucks. Because he's a faggot and it makes his pussy hurt. One of the funniest movies ever put on fucking film. And this twerp, this waste of life, would probably see them all burned if it were up to him.
Is the title of this article celebrate the 40th anniversary of Animal House by tossing it in the trash?
Yes.
Okay, I just found it.
So, this is by Harry Cheadle, who
Fuck, I've heard that name somewhere before.
Well, he's bad and he should feel bad. And all the bad things in life should happen to him. He says the title is "Celebrate the 40th Anniversary of Animal House by Tossing It in the Trash." 40 fucking years, and this movie is still as funny as the day it was made. Do you think anybody is going to be laughing at this quote-unquote fucking comedies they fart out now? 40 years from now? If you think anybody's going to be watching Amy Schumer's fucking movie Trainwreck 40 years from now? Nobody watched it 40 days after it came out. All right, nobody cared. It's not good. All right, these people wish they could make something so endearing, so beloved. In fact, the only thing Hollywood can make any money at right now is Marvel movies, which is stuff that a couple of Jews created 50 years ago, not them. And then what the hell else? They can rape the corpse of Star Wars for ever diminishing returns. Other than that, Hollywood can't seem to make a fucking dime right now. They wish they had people like this in Hollywood right now. So, the article, Celebrate the 40th Anniversary of Animal House by Tossing It in the Trash. Subtitle, Drunken Frat Boys Don't Seem So Charming Anymore. And the film's gender politics are fucked beyond repair. Motherfucker. Okay, so it goes on. It's difficult to imagine what it was like when Animal House dropped into theaters in July 28th, 1978, exactly 40 years ago. It landed like the opening of a revolution and spread to the country like a virus, eventually grossing over $500 million in today's dollars and becoming part of the DNA of every campus comedy for the next few decades. The tropes more or less invented by the film included rebellious frats, disapproving deans, double secret probation, and toga parties. Cult movie doesn't do it justice. It's an entire religion. The poster of John Belushi in his college sweatshirt is still a staple of dorm rooms when I went to college in the 2000s, and for all I know it still is. Animal House will never die. The question is, should it? Nobody, you should. Like anything that achieves that level of cultural saturation, Animal House is bigger and smaller than itself. Bigger because it has been referenced and parodied so many times it's impossible to avoid its influence, and smaller because what we tend to remember about it is only a fraction of the film. Everyone remembers Belushi's bits, the guitar smoking, the whiskey chugging, the final parade of destruction, and half dozen other jokes throughout that have become touchstones. Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son. We also probably know the scenes that look the worst to modern sensibilities. The all-white gang taking some girls to an all-black bar and getting scared away by the threatening patrons. Belushi spying on sorority girls getting undressed in a segment whose main thrust is, hey, check out these hot girls. Yeah, that doesn't bother me, faggot. But then maybe that's because I'm not a faggot. Oh, I hate this guy. I hate this guy so much. I wish, nothing but unending misery for him.
I'm sure that he already has nothing but unending misery in this
I hope he dies by being eaten alive by fucking ants.
He writes for Vice, okay?
You know them ants in the fucking Amazon where they form almost a river, and anything that gets caught in their path gets basically stripped alive and fucking in a minute. That's how I hope he dies. I hope somebody takes him to the Amazon and those fucking big ass fire ants just strip him alive.
Actually, a better punishment for him, if you're going to send him to the Amazon, get attacked by a can-do fishlet. One of those little snakes in rivers that will bury themselves in your anus and then chew their way through to your bladder. And the only way to get rid of them is to cut your penis off.
That's good too. Although it would be a small sacrifice for him. I see. That's the thing. I can't even get through this fucking article. I can't even get through it. I don't have it in me. He's going on about shit being problematic and shit like that. Oh my god! Die in a fire, you piece of shit. And this is anything good, they would just take it all away. This asshole would just no one would watch Animal House anymore. No one would be allowed to watch it if it was up to this asshole. God, remember when the right were the moralizing faggots? I missed that.
This image is hilarious, Luke.
What is
I sent it Bechtloff too.
It's a picture of me for some reason. Oh, that's the stack of burning money from The Dark Knight.
Some men just want to watch the world burn. You're staying in the place of the Joker. I made you one for Bechtloff now.
Yeah, I just want to watch these fucking people burn. I'm so... Yeah, there's 40. Hang on. I just... Like, I just... Fuck these people, man. I hate them. I hate them all so much.
Well, here's the thing, too. It's like, I'm looking at the article. Well, I just sped read it. The dude doesn't even seem wholly sincere. That's the other thing, too. A lot of these clickbait writers don't really believe what they're saying that fucking sincerely. Because I remember the name Harry Cheadle from somewhere. I think I was following his work, like, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. And he was far less of... None of these people were talking about this shit 5, 10, 6 years ago. They're trend followers. They're doing this because they think, they've either been ordered to by their bosses or they think it will get them more clicks. So this guy isn't just a shitbag. He's an insincere shitbag. He didn't write this with a straight face. He's like, he wrote it because he felt he had to.
Like I said, I don't even want to talk about this shit. I had a 5-hour stream last Sunday, and that was, like, way more fucking enjoyable than my more structured Saturday shows. And I know it's gay as shit for me to be sitting here whining about what's enjoyable because I'm supposed to be entertaining you people, and I get that. Don't get me wrong, because I do ask for the shekels, so I should be entertaining you first. But the thing about it is, like, I had a big 5-hour stream, and what was it? Like, Tom Bombadil came on here, and we had a big old Catholic Protestant spurg out, and it was, tons of fun. And then I rambled on about, like, different recipes for a while. And then, like, I think British James came in and John Steele was in at some point. We were rambling on about, like, fucking, horror movies and the moral messages behind them and stuff like that. And that was so much of a better show than I had done in so long. Because I wasn't trying to sit here and talk about the news of the day. I'm so burned out on that, folks. Like, the guy who wrote this is a piece of shit, and he should die in a fire. And the whole lot of the left are just, they're bad. I don't know what the hell we're gonna do with them except put them in fucking Gitmo or something. All right, that's the only thing I think can be done with them at this point. Trump just signed an executive order putting a whole lot of them in fucking Gitmo.
Helicopter ride to Gitmo.
Yeah, helicopter ride to Gitmo. You can't talk to these people anymore. There was some article I was going to talk about tonight, and I don't have it in me, where this cunt was on a fucking plane, right? And this plane was supposed to be deporting some people, and she wouldn't take her seat as a protest, so she stopped the deportation. And I'm like, okay, that's fucking wonderful. So she's being charged with obstruction of justice now, right? She's going to federal pound me in the ass prison, or I don't know what the female equivalent is. Lick me for a pack of smokes prison. Whatever the fuck that is.
It's fist me for a pack of smokes prison.
Or our famous Trump line, grab them by them.
Somebody in the chat says, Bechtloff ever try a teriyaki quesadilla? No, but that... Well, see, I don't know about that, because, like, teriyaki doesn't go good with cheese. Do you got cheese in that? See, if you're going like Asian sauces, you can't be having cheese on it. It doesn't go well. See, that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about fucking making food or something. I'm so burned out on talking. Yeah, leftists are shitheads. How you guys really want me to stretch that to another hour and a half? I don't. What fucking like. So Sunday we were talking about this. This was great. John Steele and I, we were talking about, like, the moral messages in horror movies, and we're talking about how horror movies are usually Christian and almost always right wing and K type. And you can point to almost any horror movie and look at the moral. Like, one of my favorite horror movies ever, one of my favorite movie series ever, Nightmare on Elm Street, right? The moral behind Nightmare on Elm Street is how the sins of the parents can be revisited on the children. Because what happened in that movie, right? So in that movie, years ago, the creepy fucking janitor, Freddy Krueger, got caught diddling the kids, right? And what happened, right? What did the parents do? Did they go through the proper channels and see to it that justice was done? No, that's not what they did. They, town sheriff included in this, formed a lynch mob and got vengeance on him. They cornered him in a building, burned him alive. Now, it's not to say that Freddie was a good boy and he didn't do nothing and he just need more money for them programs. That's not what I'm saying. But the point is, they did, one could argue, the wrong thing for the right reason or the right thing in the wrong way or something. And that relatively minor compromise was enough that years later it would cost their children dearly. Because again, sometimes, and it's unfortunate, but sometimes the vigilante justice is the only kind of justice you can get. But that's not supposed to be the first kind you reach for. They didn't do things the proper way, and their children would pay for it. I mean, if you want to get into the theology of this fictional movie, would those demons really have been able to empower Freddy in the way they did, if not for the fact that they found a evil man who had been done wrong? He was denied his due process. So, again, that minor compromise is what... And see, they didn't do it that way because they had no choice. They did it that way because it was easier. And because it felt good. And it was more fun, if you want to get even more simplistic about it. And that's just one example. Over and over again, horror movies are full of, almost like the old Grimm's fairy tales. They're full of those sorts of morals. Even when they're not even intended to be. They're often that way. And see, that's just way more interesting for me to talk about right now than the fact that a soy boy wants to piss on something that he wishes he could create. I'm just so burned out on it, guys. I mean, I'm sorry. Like, I know last Saturday's show fucking sucked. It was only like an hour. I'm just like, I don't want to. Yeah.
Oh, Bechtloff, to lift your spirits, I made you a little something.
What we got here? Was it in the Discord?
Discord, I'll send you to this.
Oh, that's fucking fantastic. Here, I'll bring it up. There it is. Some men just want to watch the world burn. Like, fuck that guy, man. Die in a fire, buddy.
And just so Matt can see it now, I'll send it to him. And that was the best picture they had as Employee of the Month.
Fuck Vice. Like, everyone at Vice should be sent to Gitmo. Yeah, I was against the idea of Gitmo. I don't like the idea of our nation having a gulag, but if we're gonna have it, can we at least make some good use of it? I mean, I'm pretty sure Hillary would have already sent me there. I'm burned out, man. I mean, it's great watching Twitter collapse, and that's all well and good, but just fuck these people. It's the Russian shit that's kind of burned me out, and it just got to me where it's like, and I said this last week, I'm so tired of arguing with these people because they argue in just such blatant bad faith.
And it's all they talk about. It's impossible to know anything else in the news today. You wouldn't have known that the economy went up by 4% this past year.
Yeah.
Actually, here's an interesting statistic.
They want to talk about being a traitor when they're trying to erase our borders, and burn our flags, and they want to say Trump was a traitor because he had a summit with a fucking political. Go get fucked.
But at least now they're admitting that they can hack into our voting machines now.
Actually, most of you probably have seen this, but someone, Pollster, I think it was last week, analyzed like the top priorities of American voters, and Russia didn't even make the top 20.
Of course
The only
not.
people who the only people who care about the so-called Russian issue are the blue check marks on Twitter and the fake news media.
Oh, and
Not even like the mainstream leftists give a shit about Russia.
the
They're all
fucking
worried about
neocons.
immigration, healthcare, jobs.
The fucking neocons are all about it too. Yeah, people care about the shit that affects them. You know, nobody gives a shit about make-believe Russian collusion. Because nobody even believes it. The people hammering these points home don't even really believe it. Again, that's why it's so frustrating to argue with them. Because 9 out of 10 of the motherfuckers that are going to come to you and start talking to you about Russian collusion, they don't even buy it. They don't even believe it. It's just bullshit, the smoke screen they're throwing out there.
The thing is, Bechtloff, it's to them, it's not like an actual rational belief. It's a religion. I mean, this goes back to what I was talking about on my streams about the collapse of Facebook and Twitter related to Russiagate. These people cannot be dissuaded. They cannot be. This is their attempt to deal with the emotional trauma of Trump winning the election. They can't realize, they can't admit that it was because Hillary's platform was so fucking unappealing that nobody wanted to vote for it. No, it's clear that the Russians were subverting our democracy. You know, they were the ones who were hacking our election system and putting fake news on Facebook and Twitter, and it convinced all those Obama voters in the Rust Belt to switch sides and vote for Trump, and it's just horrible.
What was the one
That's
I was
not
arguing
a
on?
belief. It's a religious belief.
One of these I was arguing on Facebook.
It's a cult belief.
Where this person's actually telling me, well, I'm like, so how exactly did Russia affect the election? Well, they leaked those Democrat emails. Okay, so you're telling me that Russia affected the election by exposing the Democrat Party's corruption and crimes? Well, there wasn't any real corruption or crimes in those emails. Okay, well, first of all, that's retarded.
Bullshit.
But let's assume for a minute that that's true, that there was nothing bad in those emails. How would leaking them have affected the election? I don't know.
Hey, you tried not being corrupt?
It called me a fucking Nazi or something and blocked me or whatever bullshit. Like, yeah, I'm a Nazi and I'm also a Russian. Because the Nazis and the Russians were allies, right? That's how that went? Fuck. It's just... the most fervent, religious, dogmatic idiot in existence couldn't be this more. Virile Journey says a $5 super chat says take callers. I just might do that. I don't know. I don't know. Tell you what, you want to call in? Message me on Skype, and I'll add you to this call because I'm doing this through a Skype call. I'm still hammering out how the fuck to do this with multiple people. It's actually a breeze doing this by myself, but doing it with multiple people. Which actually, you know what? While I'm waiting for people to message me on the Skype stare,
Sponsors?
Yeah, sponsor. We got the sponsor tonight is Steve's Jerky, and
Steve's Jerky.
Yeah, Steve's Jerky is just fucking fantastic. It's just it's the tits. It's the tits. If you have not gotten yourself some Steve's Jerky yet, you're wrong. You are wrong. You need to get some Steve's Jerky. Trust me. I would be buying the stuff more often if I wasn't watching my money. You know, like I'd just be living off this shit. It's so good. It is fantastic. In fact, you know what? We got a little ad copy. Let's read some ad copy here, shall we? Jerky makes a Bulbasaur happy. Jerky, the aphrodisiac of choice for Tay-Tay, Kim Possible, Liz Vicious, and the dominatrix of my dreams, the Dark Queen herself. Steve's meat cannot be beat. Steve's Jerky is rumored to grow your penis 3 inches, cures deep soy poisoning, and converts rabbit vegetarianism. Get you some Steve's Jerky or face the wrath of 1 million Medicare videos. Support the alternative media you enjoy and get you some Steve's Jerky.
Yes, you should. By the way, reminder, folks, if you order 3 or more packages of Steve's Jerky, shipping is free.
That is true. That is very true.
Unfortunately, you can only order it if you're in the U.S., which means I will be deprived until I come back. Sad face.
Okay, so we got some We got some callers here. I am going to bring in first Ian McDonald, and we'll take him as a caller. Shit. Hang on. Figuring out the Skypes here because Skype has recently decided to update itself to be less functional. That's thank you, Skype. I appreciate that a great deal.
Well, I figured out what they did. They basically took the mobile version of Skype and they just turned it into a desktop version because now they function identically.
Oh, that's just not a good idea, is what they did there.
They should not have done that.
Ian McDonald, what's on your mind?
So, first off, well, actually, I just forgot what I was going to say there.
All right, well, that's riveting radio. Thank you.
Yes, the mind. It does weird things to you. You think you're going to say one thing at one point, but then you just forget it, and it makes you look like an idiot.
Yep. Try doing this live for a while. Believe me, the amount of times you could snippet me out to look like a fucking half a retard is like the amount of times I say words wrong. Like I meant to say estimation one time, and I'm like estimentation. Like just dumb shit like that.
Or mispronouncing Zoe.
Zooey. Although I think Zooey is more appropriate. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to move on from you, and we're going to go ahead and take the other caller, and then I'll come back to you. If I can figure out how to do this. Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't you just hop out of the call then? Because this is mobile.
You're in Louisiana. I recommend go spearing an alligator, and then that will fill you with manly vigor, and you'll remember what you wanted to talk about.
Oh my god! What?
Since we're looking at calls, would you mind if I tell you a couple of things of Teen Titans Go the movie?
Go ahead.
Well, it's pretty funny actually, but there are two really good jokes I want to share. At the end of the credits, like Robin wants us to prevent the credits from going because he wants to give us a big speech because I want to have the parents and kids something to talk about when they go home. And he says, "Quick, kids, ask your parents where babies come from."
That's actually pretty funny.
And in the middle, there's they're on the movie set because Robin has this idea if he has a movie, he'll be a real hero. And they see Slade, the Teen Titans version of Slade on. It's Slade, get him! They start pummeling him. And say, "No, guys, I'm just an actor playing Slade. It's me, Shia LaBeouf." "Oh, Shia LaBeouf, get him!"
Did he actually do the voice?
I don't think so, no.
Oh, that would have been great if he'd have done the voice.
Stan Lee did his voice, so he did a little cameo.
I like Teen Titans Go. Here's the thing. I've heard a lot of people shit on Teen Titans Go because, like, it somehow diminishes the, original Teen... Like, basically they say it's a watered-down, goofy, dumb version of the Teen Titans show, right? But see, to me as a comic book fan, the Teen Titans show was a watered-down, goofy version of the comic. So I don't mind that the Teen Titans Go... Like, in other words, let me put it this way. Everyone who loves the Teen Titans cartoon and hates Teen Titans Go... How you feel about Teen Titans Go is how I feel about Teen Titans. And, Teen Titans Go started as these little shorts in something called DC Nation. And it was actually just really interesting that they even got the voice actors back together. And, they were just little parodies of the Teen Titans cartoon. And they were funny as hell. And that ended up being so popular, it became its own thing. So, I don't know. I don't mind Teen Titans Go. All right, so we got an echo here somewhere. Is somebody else in this call now?
Yes, I am. Do you hear an echo?
Yeah, you got headphones in?
No. Hold on a second.
Yeah, because you're echoing like a synagogue over here. We're going to need some headphones.
All right, hold on.
Yeah. It's like when Jonathan Ross was trying to record that stream he was on. Okay, so what's on your mind there, caller?
Okay, is that better?
That's better. What's on your mind?
Okay, since I have you and Matt on here, I kind of wanted to talk about a particular part of Davis and Pastor Thomas's stream, because To be honest with you, I'm kind of sick of the politics stuff myself, and just to clarify where I'm coming from, because oddly enough, me specifically in my background, I'm kind of in the middle between Protestant and Catholic. Like I was raised in a Lutheran church, and actually in a Lutheran school too. But when my dad married my stepmother, she was a Catholic, so I was actually baptized in the Catholic Church, and I actually learned a lot about their theology. I had to go through confirmation. I had to go through their confirmation and study a bunch of different stuff, but and I would lean more towards the Catholic perspective. I think they're a lot right about a lot more things, at least considering modern society. But like the one thing that really bothered, and it had to do with my question that I sent you through Streamlabs, is just that. Like, here's the thing. Is this that the Catholics and Davis in this debate posited that Mary is essentially the perfect woman, but she didn't have sex, or like she didn't give her husband children.
Yes, and
she's considered the perfect woman, and if you consider it from the general Christian perspective, like, men are, like, everybody is supposed to, which I guess in the Catholic dichotomy, since it's Mary's the perfect woman and Jesus is the perfect man, then, like, Jesus is the example that men are supposed to follow, and Mary's supposed to be the one that women are supposed to follow, and she was a virgin her whole life, didn't have sex with her husband, and didn't give him any children. So I was kind of curious what you and Matt thought about that perspective.
Well, to be honest, the whole Mary being a virgin her whole life thing, I for the longest time thought that was like something Protestants just said about Catholics, or something like atheists said to make fun of them or something. Like, I remember, there's that line in, if you ever seen the movie Dogma, Kevin Smith did, where they're talking about Jesus having brothers, and the girl was like, Jesus didn't have any brothers, Mary was a virgin. And it's like, yeah, but Mary got married, then... And I just remember watching that even at the time, and I was like, I was a fedora agnostic at the time, and I'm like, no Christian actually thinks that. That's stupid, Kevin. That's stupid. Why would you think that?
Like, because I don't. I am the Catholic, I guess. I'm not as well read on theology as the other people here, but like, I went to Sunday school, and I went to a Catholic school. I don't remember this shit at all.
I didn't know that it was, but I've heard a lot of people say this here recently. Davis has said it, that it's the teaching of the Catholic Church that Mary remained a virgin her entire life. She got married to Joseph, but for some reason, despite being in holy matrimony, they did not have sex and produced no children.
That's ridiculous. And also, under the rules of the Catholic Church, that means the marriage was never consummated.
I said that to Davis. I said,
and,
look, hang on.
Sorry.
I said that to Davis, and there's a reason I read that. Somebody made the comment like, "Wait, so God was cucking Joseph?" And I know it was kind of vulgar but I read that comment because it's like, that's kind of what this is making it sound like here, Davis. And also, like, as I said to Davis, I'm like, Christianity, period, has almost universally taught that sex within marriage is an inherent good, both for the production of children, and even beyond that, the strength, the cementing of two becoming one. It's a bonding thing between a husband and wife that is inherently good even before children are produced. And the Catholic Church especially is all about fucking pump out as many pumps as you can. The Catholic Church, their teachings say that, you know, a marriage isn't even a marriage until, you know, we have liftoff in that arena. So I don't understand, and I was really trying to stay back because obviously I lean more towards Tom's side on this, and I didn't want to be ganging up on Davis. So that's why I tried to shut up as much as possible. But I really was like, what the hell, man? This is entirely contradicting against the general teachings of what marriage is and should be in Christianity in general, and particularly in the Catholic Church.
Well, it also seems like a super weird thing to focus on.
But actually, guys, like that was the thing. Is just that like again, the reason why I even asked that question before the debate, because I actually looked this up a little bit, and like again, like I gotta admit, I lean towards more the Catholic side, but I think this might be leaning me more towards the Protestant side because there's a whole thing of Mariology.
Well, the other thing I was trying, like I didn't want to bring up.
Study, yeah. Okay, go ahead.
The other thing I didn't want to bring up because again, I just, you know, I didn't want to. I didn't want things to go off on a vulgar thing. We had a specific tone there. I wanted to keep up, you know. But I was kind of hoping a super chat would have came by and said this, so I could have been off the hook to say it. The way Davis at least was describing this, and you know, Davis. I'm not picking on Davis. It's just, you know, and I do believe this is what the Catholic Church teaches, but it makes it sound really fucking incestuous between Mary. It makes it sound like Christ is Mary's fucking.
I mean,
man.
Pastor Tom did insinuate that pretty heavily.
Well, and he's a lot nicer than me. I would have just gone off if I was in Pastor Tom's seat and been like, so wait. Christ is the new Adam and Mary's the new Eve. Why does Jesus have an Oedipus complex? What's going on here? Because that's what they're making it sound like.
I had never heard that before prior to this debate.
Yeah, but guys, what I wanted to bring up interestingly with the perpetual virginity thing is this that this was actually within the within the early church fathers, this was actually one of the foundational beliefs with Mary. Like this was before the Council of Nicaea. This was before the 3rd century. This is before they even consider the Mother of God, which kind of makes me think that this kind of dogma, this perpetual virginity, might be kind of just a tumor of their past paganism.
I think that's exactly what it is. I think a lot of the doctrines of Mary are that.
Like before, before pagans, they had a fertility goddess. I mean, seems like they kind of constructed Mary into this virginity goddess, and again, I'm not trying to throw any disrespect at these guys. I mean, they had a lot of wisdom, and a lot of what they said were the foundations of the church and how pretty much every Christian today understands the Bible. But they were still human beings. They were still flawed. They weren't the 12 apostles or anything. So
yeah, I didn't even realize until recently that Catholics believed Mary was sinless. That to me is ridiculous. Like I said, a lot of that.
Yeah, but you see, like even that, like I'll admit that I don't. That again, like I kind of even discount that part. Like the part that bothers me the most is that she's a sinless woman who never slept with her husband and never sired him any children. Like as far as theologically and how
it is, I would say it's inherently contradictory.
That is way more far out than the idea that Mary is sinless.
I would say that's entirely contradictory.
Davis kind of blew it off like it doesn't matter, but he's portraying her as the perfect woman, or at least or I shouldn't say him. The Catholic Church is like portraying her as the perfect woman, so I find that like way more important than whether she was sinless or not.
I would say
Like
that
that's almost an afterthought to me.
I would say that it's an inherent contradiction to other Catholic and even broadly Christian, but specifically Catholic doctrines.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, yeah, it's just
Like,
I don't see how
you know what I find most interesting about it is that I remember Davis has talked about a lot about the weird views that Puritans had about sex.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I think you can look at this how they see Mary, this perpetual virgin that didn't have sex with her husband, and like again, as far as like this conception of her is that she was the perfect woman who didn't perform any wifely duties. Like, I don't know, I think that explains a lot of it.
I would say as I said, and I asked Davis to clarify this, and you know that doctrine makes it sound as if sex is a necessary evil and not an inherent good. Yeah, and to be honest, I think Davis. I mean, he honestly said, I don't know how, and to be honest, I really respect that, because a lot of I wish more people would have the balls in a debate to say, look, I don't know how that.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of why Davis wanted to move on from it, because he didn't have answers for it, and fair enough, fair enough.
And one more side question before I go. And this is mostly towards Matt. Like, do you think we're kind of seeing like maybe a second .com crash with with the downturn of Facebook and Twitter? Because I know they're the ones that have.
It's already in full swing, bro. It's already in full swing. We're gonna have a recession in a couple of years because at least one of the major, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Twitter, Google, one of them's gonna go down. Probably Facebook at this point, because it's like the one that fell down and triggered everything else.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that's what I was gonna say. Is just that, like Google and Twitter haven't been the only one affected. Like, all their stocks have gone down because they're just so interconnected financially.
It's inevitable at this point. Like I wrote about a month ago, closer to 2 months now. The Web 2.0 paradigm has been dying for at least the past couple of years, ever since all the censorship started getting introduced, and also ever since people's attention span started becoming more shorter and more flighting. I mean, for God's sakes, just this year alone, we watched, like, for example, the hot new trend in this part of the internet was internet blood sports. What happened to internet blood sports? It's gone now. It didn't even last 3 months before it chewed itself out and burned and went away.
I think that was
the Kumite is still doing all right.
Involved. I think that was more about the people involved, like the people involved in it, than the fact that whether people won.
Actually, you're onto a good point there. Hang on a second. Sorry to interrupt you, but I gotta get this out. That's actually a really good point. It really is more about the people involved. Like, Facebook and Twitter are going to collapse, not because people have decided they don't have use for the services that Facebook and Twitter give out. It's because of mismanagement. The blood sports collapsed, not because people got sick of the blood sports. People still like that content. Streams are still the most popular thing on YouTube. It collapsed because they couldn't stop fucking fighting with each other. They couldn't keep a separation of professionalism and let the drama just be on their show. So I mean, every one of these things is a collapse due to mismanagement, remarkably, due to a complete lack of professionalism almost across the board in our country right now.
Yeah, because I mean, just the thing with with blood sports in general, to me, it just happened when when Andy Worski just couldn't let it go that, what was that French guy's name? Jay something.
JF.
JF, yeah, when JF called him low IQ.
Well,
He just
as
could never
Medicare
let
put
that
it,
fucking go. Like again, like I'm pretty sure that Jim said at some point that he wanted a fucking safe word.
as Medicare put it, he said, I don't get it, guys. You were on a roll. You had the momentum. All you had to keep doing was finding new retards to scream at each other and let the super chats roll in, and somehow y'all fucked it up. Like, I mean, I'm at a point right now where getting the guests and all and getting the booking, because I'm still really, really small. But if I was at a point of fucking where the Kumite are or where Andy was or something, where people were seeking me out to come on the show, I mean, just kick back and let it fucking rake in. I don't care if somebody called me a faggot or called me low IQ or something. That's great. I'll be laughing all the way to the bank. Get the fuck over it, Andy.
It's just because these people, like you know what I realized about it? Just because all these people are from the skeptic community and they have such, they just have such ridiculous egos that they just if you say that they're not very smart, they just want to destroy you.
In all fairness, I think Tonka and Failure are still doing the Kumite, and they're still doing all right on it. In fact, I think I just watched a bit of the Kumite earlier this week. I caught some of it live, and they're not where they were, but they're still doing fine. I think the Kumite is probably going to get through this, assuming they don't shoot themselves in the dick. But like Worski's, he's in a death spiral right now. Like he brought fucking Jay Dyer on as a co-host. Like, I remember when I heard that, I'm like, really? Like, I like Jay. I've had him on this channel, and I hope to have him on this channel again.
I'm not gonna lie.
But that's a mismatch out of
Did you watch the?
I didn't catch any of it, but it's like those two.
No, but
their audiences don't fucking mesh. Their styles don't fucking mesh. Jay's a great guest to have on a show like Andy Worski once in a while, but Andy is interested in doing an entirely different show than Jay is.
Mixing, Jay Dyer and Worski is like mixing Coke and wine.
It's like putting fucking cheese on Chinese food. Yeah, cheese is good. Chinese food is good, but you melt a piece of cheddar on some Kung Pao chicken. It's disgusting.
Well, I don't know, because that's the thing, is that I actually really liked it when Jay Dyer was on. At least in my job I'm currently on, that I drive a lot, so I was actually able to hear like a couple of their streams, and
yeah, but see, the problem is I liked
Jay Dyer was really good.
Yeah, I think Jay was
actually
good.
A good addition to the show.
I do think Jay's good. I don't think he's good on that. I think that him and Andy had no chemistry. They didn't even have that kind of butt in their heads kind of thing about it. It was like, to me, it was like they were doing two different shows in the same room. I just don't feel they ever meshed. I like Jay a lot. I like Andy a lot. I like both of them are great content creators. I don't think they went well with each other. I don't think they ever meshed. I think Jay's a great guy to have as a guest on a show like Worski. I think Worski's a great guy to have as a guest once in a while on Jay's show. But even Jay was saying when he left it, he's like, our audiences don't mesh. Jay would be bringing up the Bilderberg group, and half of Worski's audience doesn't even know what that is. They think it's something that grows pot. All right? It just wasn't going to mesh.
I guess if we're getting into this, it's just that, I mean, what is the appeal of Andy Worski himself?
I don't really know, to be honest.
Exactly.
I like Andy.
What do you like about him, though?
I like Andy on the Kumite.
I've never even considered... Because, again, the only time I've ever
Here's the thing.
Worski,
I'll answer your question. I like Andy on the Kumite. I've always liked Andy on the Kumite. I've never really been able to get through Andy's show itself unless I'm particularly interested in the guest. Andy, I don't think carries a show by himself. He's a goofy stoner gamer. And I like a goofy stoner gamer. They're fun to be around, but you don't put them in charge. Right? I like Andy being on the Kumite and just bouncing ideas off stuff, but Andy Worski, and don't get me wrong, I will forever love Andy Worski because of how he trolled the fuck out of Sargon. That
okay,
was
we
brilliant.
Okay, yeah.
That
I forgot about that.
The liberalist Discord full of white nationalism and trap porn. Like, that's stuck in Sargon's crawl so bad. Like, that alone, Andy Worski deserves respect. That said, though, I've never been a huge fan of Andy's show. I prefer him on the Kumite as, part of an ensemble cast. But like I said, just him and Jay were trying to do two different shows, and it just did not mesh, in my opinion. And I mean, this is also the opinion of Andy and Jay. I mean, that's why they split ways. But the problem is then Andy's in a point where it's like you just went through two sidekicks in a row there, and you start to get that reputation of you can't work with anybody. I think Worski's in a bit of a downward spiral.
I mean, to be honest with you, like, again, I like him a lot, but again, like, he just has a fucking ego. Like, again, he broke up with a business partner that was getting him shit tons of money because he called him low IQ. And he couldn't let that go for months.
Now, look, I understand Andy's being upset about it. I understand Andy saying, look...
No.
Here,
don't.
Let me defend him. I understand Andy saying, look, I felt disrespected on my own show. But the thing you do is, what Andy did is because he's so not confrontational, which is weird for a guy like him, he let it bubble to the surface, and then he was like passive-aggressively going after Jay and stuff like that, and snipping at him, and then like not have... He was doing it completely wrong. If he was upset about it, what he should have done is after the show, he should have, spoken to JF privately and said, look, dude, you're a great addition to the show. I love having you on. You stepped over the line. Don't do it again. And JF probably wouldn't have done it again then. He probably would have respected that, and that would have been the end of it. And we would have, we probably would have forgotten that moment ever happened. That's how he should have done it.
Instead of being...
I get it. It's the Andy Worski show. Your name's on the fucking show. There's a certain level of disrespect you're not going to tolerate from your co-host. I get that. Okay, fine. He went about it completely wrong. And it just crippled his show.
I mean, I guess, but the problem I have with that is just that I don't know. Maybe you can give me more insight on this because I never really watched the Kumite and never been a fan. But I mean, I've watched the Ralph retort, like the kill stream, plenty of times. And those guys, I believe it's Zulon and Gator, they've said way worse shit about each other than anything JF said about Andy.
Well, here's the thing. Hang on. Here's the thing. You should be thick-skinned to do this. Okay? You really should. The reality is, though, is that everybody's a human. Everybody's human, and if you're going to be doing this long enough, there's bound to be a time when somebody pokes at a raw nerve, when somebody pokes at you in just the right spot. Maybe you had a bad day, maybe you poked at that spot too much, whatever, maybe it was something you ate, whatever. There's bound to be a time where one time it's going to get to you. It's going to piss you off. Okay? It's going to legitimately piss you off. Now, yeah, you should have the thickest skin as possible. And you should just try to let it roll off your back. I'm not disputing that. But there's going to be times when somebody's poked at something and you just think, hey, and maybe you need to set them aside. You're friendly with them, you're friends with them, whatever, and say, look, that wasn't cool. Ease up on that. Don't do that again. Whatever you need to say. And again, see, that's the thing with the Ralph retort. We don't know what goes on behind closed doors. There might be times when one of them legitimately pisses the other off, or where one of them has to after a show say, "Hey, that was you're poking at a sore spot there. Don't do that." That might be why they're able to keep doing it. I don't know. But again, you should let it roll off your back as much as possible, and you should also realize, hey, the money's coming in. If the money's coming in and it's good, so what? You know what I mean? I try, like, very rarely do people say shit that really gets to me. Because, first of all, I know that deep down I'm worse than 90% of the insults that are ever thrown at me, if I'm going to be honest with y'all. You know, if somebody insults me, I'm kind of like, well, you wouldn't even think that highly of me if you knew the truth, buddy. But also, it's like, who the fuck cares? You know what I mean? Like, you know, if somebody wants to send me a super chat that says I'm a faggot or something, it's like, okay, well, you sent me fucking money, so whatever. Okay, you wanted to call me a faggot, you did it, champ. Good for you. Like, so yeah, ultimately these guys let their ego get in the way. I agree with you on that. They let, I would argue, unprofessionalism get in the way. And they stepped on their own dick there. I still like the Kumite. Now, I don't watch a lot of any of these live, to be honest with you. I catch a lot of the clips after the fact.
I don't either. Like, I catch most of it, like, again, in my morning. Like, post-recorded, but...
Yeah, I catch a lot of it on the clip sites, so... I mean, that doesn't necessarily do them any good, but whatever. But yeah, I mean, you know, if I was having money rolling in all the time and everybody wanted to come onto this channel and Medicare was on here all the fucking time and shit like that, you know, I'm not gonna give a shit if like Matt called me a faggot or something one time. Whatever, move on. Okay, sure. You know, these guys are raking in hundreds of dollars a night.
Yeah.
You know, after YouTube takes their fee and PayPal takes their fee and probably even after taxes, hundreds of dollars a night. You know. Get the fuck over it. And it's like I said, I know sometimes it's gonna get to you. You're human. And when that happens, deal with it as privately as possible. And move on. Have some fucking professionalism.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's the kind of thing. It's just that, I mean, just the way that you're bothering, like, how do I put this? Well, again, like even I kind of want to drop the Andy JF thing, but just to bring it up really quick, it's just that it's not like these guys were friends or buddies, really.
Yeah, there's that. I mean, they were business partners. They weren't.
And this other guy's wherever the fuck he is, like, you just couldn't just be offline for a couple days and just cool down. And actually, you know what? That's my biggest problem with it. Like, actually, now that I think about it, it's just that like, these guys that focus their careers on live streams and all this other shit, they take it too personally. They take it way too personally. Like, again, like Andy Worski, like, I can tell outside of his life stream, like, he's got friends, he's got buddies, like, he's got a girlfriend, he's got all this other shit in his life, but he's focusing on this one little, like, I mean, to be honest with you, like, dipshit comment by his co-host that he doesn't even know, that he's never met in real life, and they're making a lot of money together, but he's just letting this just... I don't know, it's just, like, I guess it's just crazy to me, and I don't know, like, I just want you to, Bechtloff, I just want you to put yourself in his situation. Because,
well, like I said, if I was in Andy Worski situation, if I was in a Kumite situation, it'd be a smile on my face all the fucking time. Okay?
Yeah.
Like I said, raking in hundreds of dollars a night, you know, yeah, like that's exactly what I said. I'll reiterate it again. You know, you don't let shit get to you. On the off chance somebody does poke at a sore spot, you deal with it as privately as possible, as professionally as possible, and then you go back to raking in fucking money. How about that? You know, all you had to do was keep getting retards on who want to scream at each other. And you know what? The retards were coming to you. That's the other thing. See, I'm busting my ass trying to get guests on here. You know, I had to start my first fucking theological debate with two regulars just so I can send that out to people and prove that it is a legitimate fucking debate thing.
Oh, and damn good live stream, by the way. And
thank you.
Despite what some people would say, I think you were a fairly good moderator. Besides maybe that little bit about Mary, about my question.
Well, thank you.
I think you might have prodded a little bit too in on that, but besides that, I think you were a fairly good moderator.
Like I said though, if I was in a position where people are just coming to me, then just roll back and let it happen. All right. Well, you got anything else on your mind? I'm gonna move on to a different caller.
No, that's about it. But my last thought is, Davis and Pastor Tom round 2. Make it happen.
Well, we just might. All right. Well, I'm going to move on to another caller then. Hop out the call if you could.
All right.
Let's add somebody. And we're add Toad. Okay, so next caller. I think he wants to talk about some Nintendo games.
Hello, am I on the air?
Yeah, you're on the air. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I was gonna talk about video games, but first I want to say, like, what the hell happened to YouTube? Like, not just like the censoring, but I mean, the algorithm. Like, remember when you watch a video and you just get the videos like related to that you wanted to, see?
Yeah, I haven't really noticed anything with the related videos all that wrong lately.
I think it was like years and years ago, but that's another.
Yeah, I haven't really noticed the. I haven't noticed my recommendations being too messed up. Aside from occasionally, like it was weird when I started getting porn star interviews all of a sudden, and then obviously when I started watching them, that went through the fucking roof. Thankfully, that's kind of died down. YouTube's given it up on that because I haven't watched them in a while.
Okay. Yeah.
But
here, let me. My headphones aren't working, so if any of the sound isn't.
By the way, folks, I went back to my dank memes on the screen there. I hope you all like that. Yeah, gotta have them dank memes. That's how you summon a frog god. So, what do you want to talk about for video games?
I don't know, just video games, Switch. I guess. Who do you want the most in Smash Bros?
Who do I want the most?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sad that Bomberman is an assist and not an actual playable character. That I've wanted him as a playable character for a while now. I mean, well, since before the last one came out, and so I mean that's kind of a bummer. I mean, everybody's saying it. It's almost become a meme. But yeah, I'd like Waluigi in there.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Other than that, I don't really know. Like there's some stuff I'd like to see in there that I just know isn't gonna fucking happen. Like, you want to put Sparkster in there, that'd be the tits. But I know that's not gonna happen.
Shrek for Smash.
Yeah, well, not like meme shit, but like actual game characters. Like, if I'll tell you what I would like. I would like if Nintendo would get more characters from these third-party properties that they already have the rights to. In other words, yeah, we got Sonic in there. Why not Tails and Knuckles? We got Mega Man. Why not Proto Man and Bass? We got Ryu. Why not, I don't know, Blanca and Bison? That would be something I'd like to see. Expand on these franchises that they've dipped, these third-party franchises they've dipped their toes in. That would be really cool to see.
Yeah, I remember wanting this when they announced the game, but I completely forgot about it. And everybody's gonna hate me for it, but I want the Minecraft guy, the Steve.
Yeah, I can't. I don't want that. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm never mad at who is in a game. I'm mad with a fighting game. I'm mad at who's not. So like if they throw him in there, I'd be like, whatever. But it's not something I'm happy about.
People spurg out over it. That'd be
I don't think people will be happy about that choice.
Oh no, people are not gonna be happy.
But yeah, I'm sad Bomberman's not a playable. I mean, I'm happy to see him in there. And I've heard people say, like, oh, everybody keeps saying, like, well, you couldn't really do much with his moveset. I'm like, bullshit. He's got arms, he's got legs, he can kick and punch, and he can do all sorts of bomb moves. I mean, if you're going to make Pac-Man a fucking... You're telling me there was a great moveset to work with Pac-Man? It's not like I'm talking about putting Qbert in there when he doesn't even have arms and literally has no offensive moves. Yeah, I'm talking about Bomberman. He throws bombs at your ass. What else do you need?
I mean, Fox and Captain Falcon, they didn't really have anything.
Yeah, like when they were first appeared in Smash, we'd never seen them outside of their vehicles.
Yeah.
Hell, with Captain Falcon, they just had to mimic Ganon's fighting style.
Yeah.
I mean, don't tell me that, well, I don't know what we could do for a moveset. Bullshit.
Like, one thing that's great about, like, I feel like Nintendo is thankfully, like, the only thing that's been not touched by this terrible SJW liberal crap, pretty much. But
I love the Switch.
You're not really involved with, like, the online communities at all for, like, these games, right? Not much.
Oh no, I don't. I don't even have the Switch really hooked. I mean, I've downloaded games, but everybody's like, oh, I don't know, the online. I don't care. I don't want to play online. Like, I mean, I don't generally. I
mean, like discussions and stuff. Like,
not even discuss. Yeah, not even mention the way of discussions. I find, I don't know, some of the crowd just a bit too spurgy for my taste, even for my taste.
I mean, when I first got into, like, Pokemon's online, it wasn't that bad, but it's gotten so far. Have you heard about they're all spurging out that you throw the Pokeball like Pokemon Go instead of battling the Pokemon in Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu on Switch or whatever?
Yeah, I've heard them spurg out about that, but from what I understand, like, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee is meant to be a bridge between Pokemon Go and proper Pokemon games. It's like all those people who've been playing Pokemon Go, like, well, here's how we're trying to get you a little bit more into it. It's like everybody that's like, well, I've been playing Pokemon since Gen 1 and this isn't for me. Well, no, it's not for you. It's a spin-off. I don't even think this is the quote-unquote Pokemon on the Switch that we were... like, they kept saying we're going to get a proper Pokemon on the Switch.
They've already confirmed that. Like, when they announced Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, and this is the stupidest part about the whole thing, it's coming 2019. The one that's like normal and not.
It's sort of like, I don't know, when there was the big like spurg out over the Metroid Federation Force, and everyone's like, oh, and I was like, guys, it's just a spin-off. You'll get you'll get another Metroid game. All right, don't worry.
And even for Pokemon, like, the way they usually have it set up, how they release a game, is that they have, like, when they release a brand new game, they call it a new generation. And every generation has at least a year gap. They're usually, like, 3 or 4 years long. So one of those years, you're not getting a new game. So we're on the 7th one right now with Sun and Moon. And we got a new game last year, Ultra Sun and Moon. And this year we're getting a new game. And then we're getting a new generation next year. So
I was going to say, Sun and Moon can't be more than, like, 2 years old, can it?
Yeah, they came out 2016, so they're.
Because I actually got one of those. I like the owl leaf dude.
Oh,
but then again, I'm partial to plant types, so.
Yeah. A lot of the Pokemon fans that you see the worst is there's this whole thing. It's funny. There are these types of fans. They are like they love the 5th generation, the one with the ice cream cone. Granted, there were some designs I liked. But anyways, they love this 5th generation black and white, and they hate Gen 1 for some reason.
That's retarded. I remember actually I was hearing somebody talking about Smash, getting back to Smash, and like, there's too much Gen 1 Pokemon in Smash. We need other gens. I'm like, no, we don't. like, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't mind if, like, some of the... Like, from what I understand, the assist, like, Pokeballs... There's supposed to be an absolute shit ton of Pokemon in Smash Ultimate.
Yeah. I mean,
like, not as playables, but as assists. So, I mean, there's going to be appearances by tons of them, which is cool.
I mean, you look on the website, they, like, something, smashbros.com, or on your Switch.
And I think I remember them saying they confirmed there are going to be some of the new ones from Sun and Moon in there.
Oh, yeah, there are, like, most of the new ones.
I think, like, the little alley dude or whatever is going to be in there. But, yeah, like... A lot of the later generation Pokemons, like, I know I have like sort of a reputation as a big Pokemon fan because I chose the Bulbasaur thing as my avatar and all. But really, it's like I liked. I have a bit of history with Gen 1 Pokemon, and then after that, the one I played was Sun or Moon. I can't remember which one I got.
One thing,
like those other generations, they just all look like shit to me.
They're overly complicated.
They don't. Not everything in Gen 1, but so much of Gen 1 looked like real things. Like they could be like real sci-fi. Like, okay, yeah, it's a cartoon, obviously. It's a cartoon style. But a Bulbasaur looks like a feasible creature. Like it's this fucking reptile plant symbiosis thing going on. Like, okay, a Charizard is just a little fucking dragon. It's just a little fire lizard. Like, a Pikachu is just a little rat that can generate electricity. They look like somewhat feasible things. You know what I mean? Like, you can imagine a world where animals like this exist. And then it's like later generations is like, we put a face on an ice cream cone.
I think it started with Gen 4. Like, they had, I mean, there's some cool ones like Lucario, but like Gen 3 had a lot more like natural designs. But one of the things that changed interestingly is how they designed the eyes, which is, that sounds weird. And they're also designed more. And I think that's one thing that's changed.
A lot of the later generation ones look a little too animu for my taste. Like, what's the frog ninja in Smash? What's his name again?
Greninja.
Yeah, he looks like shit to me. Like,
I actually love Greninja. But...
he looks like shit to me. And then I look at like Pokemon toys if I go through like a toy aisle or something, and I'm seeing like some of the newer ones, and I'm like, this all looks like shit.
Yeah. I mean, I disagree with you on that.
And like the new generations, I think, okay, like this like the newest generation, the seal water dog looks a little too cartoonish. But what's the other one? Like a fire cat? He looks kind of cool.
Litten.
The leaf owl dude looks rad as shit. And then I'm seeing and now a lot of them are from generations I had missed, but I'm looking at ones in here. I'm like, a lot of these look pretty cool. I'm all right with this.
Yeah. What was I gonna say?
But I'm definitely looking forward to Smash Brothers. There's a lot of games on the Switch I want that I don't have. Right now all I got is I got Zelda Breath of the Wild, which I got the DLC for, and I got Mario Odyssey, and I got Mario plus Rabbids, and I got Sonic Mania, which I'll probably get the DLC so I can play as Mighty and Ray on that. But I've barely touched any of them in favor of Breath of the Wild.
I mean, I really liked Odyssey.
Odyssey's great. Don't get me wrong. I played a good amount of it, but I've been so enthralled with Breath of the Wild this past 7 months.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild is a masterpiece, and you see all these edgy people. They're like, "Oh, Breath of the Wild wasn't that good," and I'm like, "Fuck you."
Oh, dude, I saw Argent on Facebook saying, and I like Argent. He's been on the show before. He'll probably be on again, but he was like, Breath of the Wild is absolute shit. I have nothing good to say about this game. And it's like, dude, chill out. Like, out the edge, bro. All right?
Yeah, apparently, a lot of older Zelda fans that are, like, a really big fan of, like, Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword, I guess, didn't like it because...
Well, see, I'm an older Zelda fan that's a fan of The Legend of Zelda.
Old.
So I guess I guess that's why I liked it.
Yeah,
like, I didn't...
Honestly,
when I first played Twilight Princess, I had just a year prior, for the first real time, played through almost entirely of Ocarina of Time, and then when I finally get my Wii, I get Twilight Princess, and I get like a little ways into it, and I'm like, I'd rather play Ocarina of Time. This sucks.
Twilight Princess, for some reason, and Miyamoto himself actually said this, there's something missing in it.
I felt the same way. I felt like I was playing the poor man's Ocarina of Time. Like, obviously the graphics were improved. Obviously there was quote unquote more to it, but somehow it felt like it was missing something, and I can't put my finger on what. Yeah,
and then Skyward Sword, that was... I mean, I don't have a huge problem with it, but again, I don't know.
Somebody in the chat says, thoughts on Digimon? Digimon is Pokemon that's been fucked in the mouth till it's gay. That's my thoughts on Digimon.
Yeah,
But,
I know nothing about it.
um,
I mean, I know Pokemon. There was a big complaint that Pokemon ripped off Digimon with the Mega Pokemon, but
I don't actually really know anything about Digimon.
Yeah, I
I
don't
just think
either.
Digimon looks like shit.
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just not hip to the really deep Digimon lore. But
Yeah, didn't you know there's a secret underground Digimon and there is the Holocaust? Deep lore. I mean, Pokemon actually does have deep lore, but I won't spare you with that. That is.
But anyways, yeah, I love the Switch. I love it. And speaking of games, I did a little Let's Play on Friday. I don't know if all y'all checked it out yet.
I
But
Yeah,
watched
once
it. I
we
watched
started-
it and fuck you, Bechtloff. That's
once
what I
you
had
were
to say.
about to start and you were just describing it, I just like, no, I'm not gonna watch this. I know this is
it was awful. It was awful.
Oh, God.
And when they're like, yeah, now swing the mouse here to wipe this toddler's ass, and I'm like, what? No, come on, why are you doing this?
Yeah, thanks to you, Bechtloff. That shit's now on my computer, and for fuck's sake, oh, who knows? Maybe in 5 years I'll get arrested for child porno or something.
I'm probably gonna take it down off the fucking YouTube channel too. By the way, because
Yeah, I know
want
one
it
of the
hanging out
comments told to do that, and I agree.
there. I don't even think it's gonna get flagged. I don't fucking want it there. But I'm not gonna lie, folks. That shit legit gave me nightmares. Okay, like I legit did not sleep well because of that garbage. All right, like the things I do to try and entertain you people. All right.
Yeah,
All
like-
that said, though, I'm gonna try and do more games. I got Super Smash Land on the PC and it runs fine. I got Mega Man X Street Fighter on the PC and it runs fine. The problem is I can't play either one of those on the fucking keyboard, especially the Mega Man one because I like Mega Man a lot. I'm not particularly good at Mega Man. Mega Man games are kind of ball busters. All right, like they're not fucking Dark Souls, but they still like here's some really cheap enemy placement next to a fucking pit. Fuck you.
It's the Dark Souls of platformers.
Yeah, Mega Man games can be ball busters. I've never been super great at them. And I'm not going to sit here and try and play ASDF on a fucking Mega Man game. That ain't going to happen. So I'm looking into getting some controllers that have USB ports. Something I saw, I even threw it up on the wish list. If you know any of you are want to help out the show. It's got on one end a USB port, and then it comes out and it's got little sections on the other end where you can hook up two different Genesis controllers, which is very handy because some of the other games I'm looking to download on here, see if I can get them to run smooth, would be some Sonic ROM hacks. Because
How much does this controller cost?
This little add-on is I might even pick it up this weekend, to be honest. The little add-on is only because it's only like I think like $12.
Oh, that's cheap. I was gonna suggest getting like a Steam controller, but the Steam controller is like $50.
Oh yeah, a lot of the good USB controllers are pretty expensive. Like I could get a shit one that's probably gonna break in 2 days for $10. But this would be cool. I could just because I have Genesis controllers out the ass, and I have good 6-button ones too, so I could just plug those in.
If you ever get a Switch Pro controller in hopes of using the D-pad, don't. The D-pad is shit.
I have not done anything with the Switch except I've never hooked the Switch up to a TV yet. I have it in my room, and I don't even have a TV in my room, and I have it with the little Joy-Cons on the side of it, and I just play it like a portable. I have not played it any other way yet. I have not used the quote-unquote controller thing with it or anything like that.
One thing, like if you ever get Pastor Tom's around, I want to ask him because he said he's playing Xenoblade 2 because I want to know if he's beaten it yet. I don't want to spoil anything, but I mean, the first one had some pretty big Fedora stuff in it, so still a good game though.
But yeah, if I can get the Genesis controllers hooked up, working fine on a computer, I'll definitely download some Sonic ROM hacks because there's some great Sonic ROM hacks, and I think I can get them to play fine on this shitty little laptop. Mega Man X Street Fighter plays fine, except for the fact that playing with a keyboard is, you might as well ask me to play a controller with my feet. like I played a little bit of Super Smash Land on a stream just to test it out, see if I can do stuff on a stream. And I mean, I was struggling to beat the fucking first level of that because I don't like playing on keyboard. I just don't like doing it.
God's sake.
Yeah, I mean, I remember like when I was like really little, I was like, we got this like Lego Indiana Jones for my mom's computer, and it's like, how do I control this with a keyboard? This is crap. This is terrible controls.
I mean, I used to be okay with it. Like back in the day, I had Tomb Raider and Oddworld on it in like '97.
Yeah,
and I was good at. I got good at it, but especially something as fast paced as like a platformer or a Smash Brothers type game like Smash Land. Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to take the time to fucking get good at the keyboard. I need a controller the way God intended. And I know PC Mustard Race Forney over there is rolling his eyes.
Yeah, I'm rolling your eyes because I beat both the original Duke Nukem's games, which are console-style platforms with a keyboard. So I don't know what your excuse is.
I don't know. I didn't go to computer camp like you did, Forney. I don't know what to tell you.
You are a PC gamer in denial. You admitted to playing PC games when you were young. Okay, Bechtloff.
Yeah, and it's I'm not going back to that.
Master Race.
I'm not going back to that. Okay, like, you know.
I can't find it.
It's like saying, why don't you use chopsticks instead of a fork? Because a fork is better.
Yeah, except that chopsticks are useless for holding shit, and a keyboard is far more versatile than a cheap controller with 3 buttons.
You know what else is versatile? Greg Johnson. But you don't.
That was cheap.
So yeah, I'm sorry. I don't want to get AIDS from my keyboard, Matt.
I gotta hand it to the Chinese. They must take a lot of patience to eat rice with chopsticks. How do you do that?
Chopsticks are good if you're on a diet, because it'll take you 40 minutes to fucking eat a piece of kung-pao chicken.
So, have you beaten a Divine Beast yet, or no?
Nope. Here's why. I was going to. I'm right up to where I can get in the camel. I'm also right up to where I can get in the elephant. But what ended up happening was somebody had gotten me a Nintendo gift card, right? Like a Nintendo eShop gift card or whatever. And it was enough for the Zelda DLC. So I got the Zelda DLC. And I had remembered that when you get the Zelda DLC, there's a spot kind of near where the castle is where you can find Majora's Mask. And when you're wearing Majora's Mask, most of the enemies won't recognize you as an enemy until you attack them, right? Like all the lizards and the moblins and the boat goblins or whatever. So once I got that mask, I really started exploring around again, and I particularly decided to explore the fuck out of the castle. And I can get right up to Ganon with ease. I've explored I think most of the castle, if not all of it.
You could probably beat him.
I could probably. Well, see, I accidentally got to Ganon one time, and he was just pushing my shit in, so I went back to the safe game right before I went in there, because you can't even teleport out of it. You've triggered the end of the game sequence once you go in there.
Like, one thing I'll say about the Divine Beasts is
I'm half tempted to give it a good, honest try to see if I could beat Ganon without doing a single Divine Beast, even though I've done like, I was talking to Undertow and telling him all the shit I did in that game, and he's like, how did you do that shit without Divine Beast powers? Like, I did all 3 of the mazes, I did the Forbidden Temple, like, I have the Master Sword, I did the fucking woods in the shadow, like, that like, magic shadow that hides those woods up north. Like, I did all that shit. Like, I've explored the whole fucking map, basically. I found almost all the shrines. I've done most of them. I have all my inventory expanded. That's almost all my inventory expanded. That's how many of the fucking seeds I found. I have my arrow and my bow and my weapon inventory completely expanded. And I'm like 2 or 3 spots away from expanding the shield inventory the whole way.
Yeah, you get a really cool reward. I'm not gonna spoil it for getting all the shrines, but
Yeah, you get the motorcycle. Yeah, I've
no,
seen
no,
it.
something different.
Oh, okay. Well, I know you get the motorcycle. The problem, I've seen some of the videos and all, and it's like I wouldn't mind getting a motorcycle, but it's like, it's almost like once you do, there's almost nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
That's the problem with some of those rewards. It's like, here you go. Here's this thing that you no longer need.
Yeah, but even to access those shrines, those DLC shrines, you have to beat the Divine Beasts. Frankly, the Divine Beasts, like, you'd think they'd be, like, really long, and, like, they're actually, frankly, kind of a lot shorter than you think they are.
I gotta just buckle down and do it. The thing, all the dungeons are like the vegetables you have to eat to get to the dessert of exploring in a Zelda game to me. Like, I like the dungeons, and they can be a lot of fun, but it's like, when I first played Link to the Past, the first time I played through it, I would get to a point in the dungeon where I would get the special weapon, right? And then I would be like, all right, well, I'll get back to this dungeon later. I'm going to go explore with this special weapon now that new sections of the map are open up to me. And what ended up happening is I had gotten all the special weapons out of the dungeons and not beaten the bosses in any of the dungeons, right? And I then ended up having to go through basically a boss rush at the end of the game. Because exploring is the thing I love doing in Zelda. And I love, like, remember that No Man's Sky game? The thing about that game that struck me, and obviously it was a big disappointment to a lot of people, but even when I was hearing the game described as what it was supposed to be, that didn't sound good to me. Because I don't want a game where all you do is dick off. I want a game where I have an objective, but I can ignore my objective and dick off. Like, I know that's kind of a small distinction, but you can't really play hooky if you're not in school, okay? And you can't go off the beaten path if there is no beaten path. So there's just something about, like, you need to go do this thing. Like, yeah, I'll get to it. I'm going to go chase lizards.
Yeah. I guess, I don't know what I was going to say. But Breath of the Wild, great game. It's just, like, once you beat the Divine Beasts, you're pretty much, and, like, all the stuff you've already done, you're pretty much done with the game and can beat Ganon. There's no, like, stuff beyond that, really.
Oh, I could, if I really, I don't know, maybe I could beat Ganon as I am. In all fairness, the one thing I've yet to really beat in the game is a Lionel.
Oh, you haven't beaten a Lionel yet?
I have using Ancient Arrows, because that's just a one-shot kill.
For some reason, I thought you could only kill Guardians with Ancient Arrows.
No, anything but a mini-boss, it's a one-shot kill, and a Guardian, it's a one-shot kill if you get him in the eye. The problem, though, is I actually need a piece of, like a Lionel hoof for this one little fetch mission. And you don't get any monster parts if you kill a monster with an Ancient Arrow, because it basically, like, sucks him into a fucking black hole or something.
Disintegrates him.
Like, they're just gone. Like, you can't get weapons off of them either if you do that. So, I mean, I've killed Lionels with Ancient Arrows before, but I have not killed... they have impressive AI. Their AI is remarkable. Like, they are extremely unpredictable. You can't do anything cheap. Like, early on in the game, I learned to be a master of doing cheap shit. Because early on in the game, they sort of, when you're really weak, they teach you to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, to snipe people.
And then, like, ride them like a horse and, like, beat them.
Yeah, you could do that. I've seen people do that. But, like, they teach you to do cheap shit early in the game. Like, you know, you're really weak, so approach things with caution. You know, snipe things with arrows if you can. Spam bombs if you can from up high. That kind of thing.
Like, the first part of that game is so much harder in the master mode because they regenerate health. And all the enemies are, like, a stage higher. So instead of 4 health, they're 72 health. And there's also a Lionel on the Great Plateau.
Yeah, I heard that. It's like a gold Lionel, too. I haven't found any gold guys. I've found silver guys all over the place now because I've
gold ones are
doing it
in the master mode.
Oh, okay. Like, there's a lot of... I remember the first time I found a silver bow goblin, it was, you know, in an area where I'd already killed him several times. He used to be like a black one or something. And I was like, what the fuck? How did this happen?
Yeah, silver is the highest in the normal game. So, I mean, I don't think I've killed the gold one yet in master mode. I'm still not too far in master mode. Only like one divine beast and
having Majora's Mask is great though, because I mean you can wander around the castle so fucking easily. It's so great.
Yeah, it's great. Unlike the actual game, it's from.
I'm not a big fan of Majora's Mask, to be honest.
Yeah, I know.
I don't think it's bad, but I think it's I think it's overrated.
Definitely, Zelda fans. I guess because they don't want to like Ocarina of Time the best because that's unoriginal. But Majora's Mask, they suck at stick. It's like that game's lame. I mean, why would I want to be on a timer in a Zelda game?
I know it resets, obviously, but still, at the same time, it's like it's very not compatible with how I play. In that I dick around like a motherfucker in a Zelda game.
Yeah. And like the thing is, you're midway through a dungeon, but you run out of time. Yeah, you can reset it, but the dungeon resets. So, that's not.
I'll tell you what, my favorites for Zelda, and again, there's a lot of Zelda games I haven't played. But I would say my favorites are still the first one, in no particular order here. The first one, Link to the Past, Ocarina of Time, and Link Between Worlds. Link Between Worlds is fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I kind of like it better than Link to the Past. Now, it's one of those things where it's like, ask me again in a few years, because I've only just recently played through Link Between Worlds, and maybe I'll go back to liking Link to the Past better, but right now I think Link Between Worlds basically does everything Link to the Past does, but better.
As someone who didn't get into gaming, like, till, like, the Wii era, really, I got in, like, gaming when I was, like, 8 or something, but, it's hard for me to go back to earlier generations before my time, because like Link to the Past, for instance, it's been easier with like NES games, some NES games that I'll enjoy. Like I've found some fun out of the original Zelda and Mario, but I think Link Between Worlds is a lot better than A Link to the Past. It's just the controls are better.
The thing about controls can be a big thing. I don't have direct nostalgia for Link to the Past because I never really played it as a kid. I didn't have a Super Nintendo. I had, I'm considerably older than you. I had a Nintendo, and then I had a Sega Genesis. And while I played a few Super Nintendo games at friends' houses, like I have fond memories of Mario World or Turtles in Time, I don't think he had Link to the Past. I don't remember ever playing it, and I do remember playing a little bit of Ocarina of Time at a friend's house, and it was like around 2006. I played it at a girlfriend's house almost entirely.
For these old
But
games,
yeah, I didn't play through Link to the Past until probably like 06, 07, when I finally got a Super Nintendo, when I got back into retro gaming heavily. I first got into retro gaming in like 05. My girlfriend at the time, because I just kept mentioning I wish I could play Sonic again, and she had gotten me a Genesis, and then I found retro game stores and got myself a Super Nintendo, and the one I never had as a kid.
Physical gaming is like one thing I really need to get into because I get so much of my games digitally, but I want to look for places that have good deals. So
I'll give you a hot tip right here. I have decided to start doing if you want physical games, get reproduction cards. I
meant like newer games.
Oh, newer. Oh, okay. I was gonna say for older stuff because like I just got Sparkster for the Super Nintendo, and that's normally
I don't
like.
Have any like old consoles?
Oh, you should get some, man. If I can get some old consoles.
I might
get the consoles themselves are cheap. That's the thing. A lot of the games have gotten stupid expensive, but an NES. I mean, hell, get a Retron 5. Get a Retron 5 for like $100, and you've got yourself a Sega Genesis, a Super Nintendo, an NES, and a Game Boy, and I think what the fuck is? There's something else. I guess they count Game Boy Color or Game Boy Advance as a fifth one. I can't remember, but there's like 5 things in there. Plus, you could I think it also will take the adapter so that you can play Master Systems games through the. Like, you just completely open up a library there.
One thing I was thinking of doing, like, sometime, because I'm taking an electricity course next year for, like, trades and stuff, but I'm trying to get into that. I was thinking, like, this would probably be a pain in the ass to do, and a huge project, but making a device for like original Game Boys that allow wireless communication with like a 3DS. For, like,
There's a
virtual
lot of modding to original Game Boys I've seen out there.
Like, I
So
wouldn't want to
it
mod
might
the
be
console
feasible.
itself.
I don't know. I've seen a lot of people have
Sure,
modded
yes.
Game Boys and shit.
Not like modding the console itself, but like the idea of an adapter.
I'll tell you something I want to work on, and this is just something I gotta do when I have both the time and the money. You know, having both of those simultaneously is a accomplishment. But I've seen like the how to guides. Basically, you make yourself a little retro Pi, like Raspberry Pi, like arcade box. You know, get the 6 arcade buttons on it. Joystick, and you can just fill it with the ROMs of hundreds of Genesis, Nintendo, Super Nintendo games and shit like that. I'd love to get one of those set up.
Yeah, I just feel guilty about pirating, honestly.
See, I don't care on, because here's the other thing. Like, I have buddy, like, I could just take the physical games I have and he'd dump the ROMs for me. So right there, I'd have a shitload. Because I mean, I got a bunch of like, even if I only put those on there, it would be just nice to have them condensed into a single box. You have friends over, whatever, you just plug and play.
Yeah, I don't feel too bad about pirating like a game they don't sell anymore. Like some of those games, because Switch doesn't have a virtual console or something.
Yeah,
but...
I mean, there are a lot. I'm talking about mostly about PC gaming here, but there are games like SimCopter that I would love to pay money for, but I can't because they've never re-released on Steam or whatever, and like the only discs are like, I don't know, $50 on eBay.
Yeah, I mean, if the company is not selling a product and I want it, I'm gonna steal. I'm gonna download it illegally.
They're literally losing nothing from us pirating it.
Right. I mean, the only games I've gotten like old because I actually like wanted the game itself is like some of the old Pokemon games, because one of the things for me is like I want to be able to transfer the Pokemon to the new game I have, so I feel like, oh, I can look back on the Pokemon, because I kind of enjoy that. That's why I wanted to make like the adapter for Game Boy, because the original Game Boy Pokemon games, you can't actually bring your Pokemon over to the Game Boy Advance, so they're cut off from all the other Pokemon games. So if I made a device that could like trade between the Game Boy and the 3DS, you could get your Pokemon onto the virtual console versions of those games and then transfer them to the new games.
Yeah. And like I said, I have physical games, so I dump the ROMs for all of them. I mean, that alone would, if I were, I have something like, I don't know, 40. I don't know. I have a shit ton of them. I have like something like 40 fucking NES games. I have like, I don't know, probably like 20 to 30 Super Nintendo games, I think. I have like, probably like 50, 60 Genesis games. I don't have huge collections. I mean, you'll see it scroll through the little meme things here, but there's the picture of my game shelf on there. I have a really nice collection, but I don't have, I'm not like Pat the NES Punk or some shit where I got every NES game or something like that. Most of them.
I guess it kind of got me thinking about how, I think a few weeks ago you were talking about how like Pat the NES Punk, he doesn't even want to play his games, and I guess I was kind of thinking, because like I play too many video games, frankly. And it's sometimes like, well, it's not even really fun anymore. It's like I'm playing it because I have nothing better to do. Well, I do have something better to do, but I don't want to work because I'm lazy.
Well, the reason I wanted to do the Retro Pi little arcade box is because that's the kind of thing where it's easily accessible, and when you have friends over, when you're entertaining, You could be like, hey, you want to plug this in and play some old games, and it'd probably be like, yeah, sure, that sounds like fucking fun, and it's got the thing where you can actually plug other controllers into it, so you can even do 2-player and all. Like, I just miss the sociable aspect of games, and I like the idea of entertaining, having friends over, and that kind of thing.
I mean, one game, like, it's really social for me. It's Pokemon Go. I play that with my mom and, like, all these people in my neighborhood still play the game and, raid Pokemon. You meet so many people. I mean, it's going to be different, of course, out where you live, probably, because there's not as much things, but... I was thinking, like, I saw this video in my sub box about the idea, what if Nintendo made a phone? And I was just thinking, so you know how people, they love to pirate, like, all these games on their phones, but you have, like, the digital D-pad, and it's kind of... Mm-hmm. What if Nintendo just made a phone, and you could play, say, games all the way up to GameCube on them, and they had, like, a built-in D-pad and buttons?
Well, I tell you what would probably happen is they wouldn't make enough, and people would be knife fighting each other in a Target parking lot for them, because that's how Nintendo rolls. Nintendo just can't ever seem to grasp the fact that they're popular.
Oh, they know. They know. They're probably doing it on purpose.
Like, I just got a fucking NES Classic here recently. I haven't had a chance to hook it up and get into it, but when I finally saw them finally available, I decided to pick it up.
Yeah, like, the thing is with these old games, I want to play them on the go. So I'm just going to wait for the Switch online service in September when they have the Netflix.
Well, you know what I got recently that was awesome? I got this off Etsy, and it's pirated, obviously, but it's a little Game Boy Advance cartridge that has, I think, like 150 NES games on it. It's so rad, and it's got, like, games that weren't even released in America. Like, it's got the Japanese Mario 2, but translated, and it's got new Ghostbusters 2 that was only released in Europe, which is actually a good Ghostbusters game for the NES. It's got a fan-made game, Zelda Outlands, which is a fantastic ROM hack. It's got just great shit on there, man. If you go on Etsy, there's tons of shit like that on Etsy.
I'll take a look. I'm kind of not doing so well in the money department. I should probably start saving up.
Oh, trust me, I hear you on that. I haven't really bought much. Like I said, I mean, I want to get that cord, and that's even for the show, to be able to use a controller. And I threw it up on the wish list hoping somebody would fucking get it. I'll probably pick it up in the next few days if nobody does, but it'd be kind of a help if somebody did.
Give Bechtloff shekels.
Need some shekels there, folks. Trying to entertain you. I played Dress Up Who for you. Okay.
Like, it's all.
I need shekels for therapy after that.
I have a general rule that usually the worst YouTube channels are usually the most popular. I mean, not always, and then the best ones are like they don't have that many subscribers. They have like 1,000 or something, but like. Not no subscribers, but the good stuff doesn't get much views.
That's true.
For some reason.
I should be getting more views here, folks. Y'all need to like, comment, and subscribe, and send shekels. Send them shekels there, goy. I told you, I played Dress Up Who. I think I deserve shekels for that. All right. I had to watch a toddler pinch a loaf for your entertainment. Okay. I had to watch a game made by Jonathan Ross.
Yeah. Speaking of pinching a loaf and games made by Jonathan Ross, we have some potentially breaking news. Now, I know Bechtloff is a huge fan of Tim and Eric. Well, Mike Ma just posted these interesting pictures of Eric Wareheim in a hotel room giving weed and alcohol to 15-year-old girls.
Are these safe for work? Can you send them to me on Skype?
Oh, they're safe for work.
All right, well, put them on the Discord, I guess. I'll look it up.
Well, I'll just Well, I just sent you the link over Skype, so.
Okay, I'll just check it out on Skype then. No big deal.
And I'll post them in the Discord as well. It's in the general yep, it's in the general.
Oh, it's gone.
Wait, what?
The tweet's gone.
Oh shit. Well, I have the pictures, so.
All right, well, just send me the picture then.
All right. Fuck.
Oh, how about that? Fuck Tim and Eric.
What channel are they on? Comedy
They
Central?
were on Adult Swim.
Adult Swim, yes.
Hey, Morty, I turned myself into a pickle. I'm Pickle Rick.
And you know what the best part is? If you try to reverse image search these images, you can't find them anywhere else. Very, very curious, wouldn't you say?
Curiouser and curiouser, as they say. Oh god, that Tay-Tay gif of her bouncing up and down. Good god.
Alright, where are they?
I don't know. I watched like the first episode of Rick and Morty like a few months ago because a girl I knew was like, "Hey, I love Rick and Morty. You should watch Rick and Morty." And I'm like, "Okay." And then I guess my IQ just isn't high enough because I couldn't get into it.
Well, honestly, in all fairness, like the first episode of a show is usually weak. Like just all around. Pilots, like there's lots of shows I loved that I just despised the pilots, and I just thought for the longest time I hated that show. So I mean, I wouldn't be too hard on it based on the pilot.
I think I watched the second episode, a part of the second episode. I'm not sure. I don't really remember.
I mean, look, I've had nothing but bad things to say about Dan Harmon, but tonight. But Rick and Morty's a pretty damn good show. Episode, our seasons 1 and 2 are great. Season 3 is okay, and I mean, no, it's not this amazing fucking thing everyone makes it out to be, but it's a pretty clever, funny show.
Yeah, these days I don't watch TV at all. Like pretty much, I will, catch Pokemon because I'm a Poke nerd, but that's pretty much it. I mean, I mostly just watch YouTube. Like, one channel that you can find hours worth of content, and it's unfortunately getting fucked over because it looks like the Spider. At first glance, it seems like Spider-Man Elsa, but it's basically like a comedy with Mario dolls, and it's adult humor. It's called Super Mario Logan. It is the funniest thing I have.
All right, so we're going to bring up some images to share with you all, and then we're probably going to wrap this up because I've been going on for a while. I appreciate the callers. They kind of pulled me out of my funk here. So let's bring up some images here, folks. Let's bring up some. Let's make sure that these images go all around the world. So first we're going to bring up. Let me go ahead and find it. So here we have the one faggot from Tim and Eric. I'm not sure whether it's Tim or Eric, but there he is.
It's Eric.
It's Eric. Okay, so we have faggot Eric. Here he is at a hotel room. And then we're going to bring up another one. The more incriminating one, shall we say. Forgive me, folks. I'm still getting the hang of this. Browse. Done. And here we go. Eric Warheim gave weed and alcohol to two 15-year-old girls in a hotel room. He gave us beer too, asked a bunch of questions. It was creepy now that I think of it. All right.
That guy always looked like a creepy fuck to me.
Oh, Tim. I hate Tim and Eric. I hate everything about them. Like, I wish harm upon them when I see them. Everything about them is just anti-comedy. If you could quantify comedy, their amount would be a negative number. Other things become less funny merely because those two exist. They actually suck comedy out of the world. I think that's probably why Dan Harmon, like why Rick and Morty season 3 is so much worse than 1 and 2. He probably just accidentally got up near Tim and Eric, and the black hole of comedy that is Tim and Eric just sucked all the talent right out of Dan Harmon.
So with all this Dan Harmon stuff, what do you think is going to happen to like Rick and Morty? And it's like 60 or 70 episodes they renewed it for.
Well, what I hope happens is that they go ahead and air the episodes, and Dan Harmon is thrown out of a helicopter. That's what I hope happens. I don't know that that's what's going to happen.
Doesn't he like do nothing for the show pretty much? Like, what?
I don't know. We'll see. All right, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I know we got some callers that I did not get to, but folks, I will probably be streaming tomorrow night. Probably after Davis does his Sunday stream. I tend to do a Sunday night stream, so I can probably bring in callers at that point. Somebody in the chat says, Movie Bob likes Tim and Eric, says everything you need to know. Oh, well, Movie Bob is also bad and should feel bad. So, I want to thank everybody who called in. Forney, Luke, thanks for your sidekick duties as always. If you haven't checked it out, folks, do check out the Pastor Tom and Davis Arini stream. That turned out really good. I would suggest, if you want to, checking out the Dress Up Who episode I did now, because I'm probably taking that shit down because I'm just not happy with it. And that's about all we got for tonight, folks. I want to thank you all for listening. If you enjoy the content I produce, do check out the sponsor, Steve's Jerky. Get you some awesome jerky, because checking out the sponsor makes the sponsor want to keep wanting to be the sponsor. Also, you could consider checking out the Patreon, become a regular supporter. Even a small amount is very, very helpful. In fact, with Patreon, it's actually more helpful to be having people do small amounts. Because, let's say let's say I was getting enough that I could do this as a full-time job, right? Let's say I was getting $1,000 a month, which I'm nowhere near that, obviously. I'm not even triple digits. But you want that $1,000 a month to be 1,000 people each sending you $1, because that's more stable.
Be able to give you $1. I just have to check on my account, make sure everything's okay.
Well, honestly, dude, you don't have, if you're not sure if you have $1, you don't have to send me
I have $1.
I'm just saying, but no, seriously, like
20 or 50 or
that's the thing, a lot of people sending small donations is actually really good. So don't think that, I can just send $1 on Patreon. That's absolutely fine. PayPal, you can send a one-time donation of any amount. That helps me keep doing what I'm doing. Obviously, we got the Streamlabs on here. We got
I'll log off right now because I gotta go.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for calling in. Obviously, we got the Streamlabs. People have done super chats. That's greatly appreciated. And there's also the Amazon wish list where you can buy me dumb shit that I like that I will do a review of. And there's even equipment on there to make the show better, folks. And obviously, if you're cheap or you're broke or whatever, and you don't want to be sending me any shekels, you could comment and subscribe, because this channel needs more subscribers. If I get more subscribers on here, maybe I can monetize this channel. That would be absolutely fantastic. And you can also follow me on the gab.ai/the Bechtloff. You can follow me on the facebook.com/the Bechtloff. You can follow not me, but you can follow the show on Twitter at twitter.com/Bechtloff podcast, where Luke is running a Twitter for the show. Now, he tweets things I tell him to, but I don't have direct access to it. So if you DM me or something on there, I'm not going to see it. So that's all we got for tonight, folks. I want to thank you all for listening. Bechtloff out.